Hey friends, it's me, a slightly exasperated Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. That's not a the side. It's not a cord. That's a braid. Huh. I have been doing so much. Today I've taken a couple of days off of work so that I can prep for Nashcon. Um, I'm not going to make it to 7,500 subscribers, but I'm still going to find reasons to give stuff away. Can y'all get me to 7,500 by Christmas? Is that reasonable? Can we get to 7,500 by Christmas? If we do that, I'll give away the OPR set fully painted. Come on. She just wants to give stuff away and nobody's helping. Nobody wants to give things away or get things. I don't know. Or maybe y'all don't care and y'all just like watching the content. I don't know. Um, but I do appreciate everyone who gave well wishes to my Utes last weekend. I had to take a few days of not interneting because moving kids to college. One is local, one is across the country. Oldest child is going for their PhD program, which is across the country. And then, as of the day of recording this, husband is with them driving across the country to get her to her school and get her settled into her apartment. And then the other one moves the weekend of the next weekend, I think. Yeah. No, he's gonna move. I don't know when he's moving. He's no, or is it at the end of the month? I don't know, but the other one's moving this month too. So we're kind of empty nesting soon. I know it's so quiet in the house without the kids around. I don't know how to feel about it. Like you think about it, like the kids being gone, and it's like, oh, they're actually gone. Oh, dang. But I'm prepping for Nashcon, so I had to take a couple of days off work. I was supposed to be on the trip, but I could not be on the trip because of knee surgery. And honestly, part of the reason I had the knee surgery was so that I could go on the trip. But truth be told, my knee was in such bad shape that sitting in a U-Haul for 3 days would not have been it for me. Wouldn't have worked. So I thought that getting the surgery would make it where I could go, amongst other things, not just doing this. But then, knee recovery, my physical therapist was like, yeah, if you go, y'all are going to have to stop like a lot. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I won't go. Maybe I won't go. So I'm painting scenery. I had to reprint, as you may have seen on the short, because she made some mistakes. She scaled incorrectly. Um, Epic scale, regular scale. Well, there's no such thing as regular scale, I guess. Most models in the Warhammer universe, about that big. And then you scale up and down from there. Just, your standard 40K and 30K games. That's what most of us are used to playing. The game I play the most, to be honest, is an Aeronautica Imperialis. Again, if you follow my channel, you know that she loves an aerial combat game. And because of that, a lot of the scenery we use has been epic scale. And I thought I was printing the stuff for Nashcon in epic scale. Turned out I wasn't. Ooh, my nose is trying to run. I'm gonna block the camera and get a tissue. Y'all don't need to see that. Okay, we're back. Um, I keep all that next to my desk. But I mean, long story short, I printed in the wrong scale. Dropped a plane. So I had to reprint it all. And honestly, I wasn't happy with the paint job anyway. So in reprinting, it now gives me a chance to do the paint job again. But all of this scenery is modular. I'm looking at where my camera is here. I've got a little bit different of a setup today. I'm just trying to find those right angles. But it's modular. It's a really great set. There was nothing wrong with the set. I printed in the wrong scale, so it's not on the maker. And these pieces right here, I need to prime because they are the joining pieces. So there are parts that have these gaps in them because you can rearrange it. And so you slide one of these in and boom, it holds them together. Um, you're not going to see that. So maybe I won't paint those. Maybe that'll be a waste of time if I paint those. Come on. Can I get it out? Ah, no! Don't be stuck! Okay, it's not stuck. Okay. But yeah, that's how they join together. Some pieces have them built in, some don't. But I have gone back and reprinted the whole thing in the right scale. So I'm going to take all the little bits here that are joiner pieces and set them to the side. because I don't need them because we are going to be painting actual scenery. I have another batch of scenery out in the garage that I rattle can primed. All this was rattle can. And it is drying. And I've got the last of it printing. Our game master, Doug, he chimed in on my Discord. Join the Discord. Um, it's like, it's a beginner game you're hosting. You don't have to go that hard. And I'm like, he didn't say it that way. I was like, if it's worth, he said you don't have to overdo it. I was like, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. That's what we believe in this household. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So I have a ton of scenery to paint. And just showing you here, like, this stuff is so cool. I'm actually going to move my stand because I don't need this. Let's unclutter a little bit. I just cluttered. It was uncluttered, then I cluttered it. But yeah, you can take this stuff. I've printed 2 sets, one for each side, but you can join it however you want, basically. The designer, let me tell you exactly who it was. I think I mentioned it in another video. And again, it's not on the designer. I scaled it wrong when I printed it. It wasn't the design that was a problem. Let's see here. Bamboo. This came from, I want to make sure I give you the exact right name. Following, where is my collections? There we go. I found some STLs for Battle Sister plate. I've ordered the base uniform, custom made, but I'm looking for, yeah, she thinks she'll be at Adepticon's Battle Sister. Anywho, it is the Terrain Atelier, or Atelier, I think it's Atelier because it's IER. Whoever you are, you know what? Boost you for free. Absolutely. Boost this model. Really love the terrain because at least it's called the Industrial Imperium sets. There's A, B, C, and I think there's a D. But you can rearrange them however you like and make, all kinds of sets. And I just think that is so fun and clever. Like, kudos on you for doing that. So I've got all these pieces that I'll arrange in different ways, but we have to figure out a base paint look. And I'll be honest, when I initially started painting, I'm going to set some of these to the side so I can grab them one at a time. When I first started painting this set, I was trying to do it with the ink because ink can give a really cool look. And on my plastic models, it has actually worked out really well. I've done a new set of Terminators in ink, and they look beautiful. I tried it on this. It looks muddy. So I'm not sad to be getting a second chance. You're going to see several videos of me in the same outfit, in the same spot, painting and talking, because she has the days off, so she's just going to record back to back. But yeah, we'll start. This is a good one to start with because it's got everything. So all the parts and bits that I might want to paint. So I have a lot to choose from. I'm going to set up my little... This is where I put stuff as I finish it or finish a section for drying so that I know to touch it in the next round. I'm a very organized painter. Okay. I feel like my camera should be just a little closer. 1 second. That camera. Haha. That's better. Make it easier on me. All right, so lots of little spires and things here. It's brick. We got stonework, some lattice work. If it's flat right here, that's a joining side, so I don't really have to worry about painting that. But yeah, it's got like lots of cool nooks and crannies. So I do have an old set from Vallejo. I don't think they make this particular set anymore, but I picked it up a while back, which is a basically a weathering set, which for this might be a good option. But I have all these little $1 paints I've done nothing with, and I feel like now's a good time to burn some $1 paint. Like I've got one that Engine Grime is a color. What else have I got here? We have Red Rust as a color. Old Rust. So I've got some really cool options to get this to look like. This is brick. This is stone. That's obviously brick. And then we've got the batteries around. And I've got my husband's paints next to me as well. And since I've had to do so much with the printers this morning, oh my goodness, because I've got the last of this scenery on my 3D printer, I'm going to reprint my Xiphons for Aeronautica and resin because the the bigger planes, like my carriers and bombers, they came out great in PLA. They look beautiful. I'm very happy with them. I'm going to play with these actually as we do Aeronautica with our group. But the Xiphons, oh my goodness, they are tragic looking. They did not like being printed in PLA, so I decided to reprint them in resin. My husband, I love you, dear. Oh, we need to fix this. My dear darling husband, his resin printer, the vat that holds the resin, had caked in resin in there that had cured. So I forgot, like several months ago, he borrowed the vat out of my Mars 4, and it was in here. So I went out to go print with mine. I was like, "Where's the vat? Where's the print plate?" They were both in his, and then there was some resin in there, so I stirred it up to see if I could print. That resin had been sitting too long, like it had separated. So I had my print head and my vat had to go into the wash station to wash everything off. I've run it twice now. Now it's drying. So after I do this bit of recording and painting, I'm going to try printing again to get my Xiphons printed. It's been a day, y'all. I'm supposed to be off. And I have to go to the gym to do my physical therapy a little bit later. So, but I'm pretty happy with how this came out. So I need a good base color for the brick. Let me see here. That's brown wash. I don't want brown wash. Looking at my husband's paints. He's got not dark flesh. That's not the color. It's a water day since I have to go physical therapy later. I go to physical therapy 3 days a week for my knee surgery, which I'm at the halfway point now. I'm at the 6 week mark, but they said I couldn't go. Well, they didn't say I couldn't. They said it would be ill advised for me to go on the California trip because we'd have to stop every couple of hours, which when you're making a move like that, it's not going to work. The mess back there is my husband's desk. Y'all know my office doesn't look like that. That is primer. I don't want primer. He has my fine golden dust. What? His side of the desk, y'all. I don't know how he works. I don't know what is going on over here. Let's see here. I think this is what I want. No, that's primer. I don't want primer. But we I will say this, when it comes to painting the scenery, honestly painting in general, I'm going to have to give him like he is a better painter than me by far. He can paint flesh. I can't make flesh look right. There's a reason she paints Space Marines. Um I don't know what it is. I cannot make flesh for me. Um he does a really good job, even on like the orcs. Like if he decides he wants something to have purple flesh, he can make it look like it's supposed to be that way. I can't do that. I'm not that talented. People say I'm a good painter. They're lying. Mahogany is going to be a good one. Um, Burnt red. That's what I was looking for. The burnt red. Where's his black? He's always out of black. This dark silver, isn't it? Yep, dark silver. I don't need dark silver. He is forever out of black. I should surprise him and go refill his missing acrylics. Oh, you know what? I am running huh. I just realized I'm going to have to do a double print because I'm doing a beginner mission where it's basically instead of capture the flag, it's land the flag, where you're trying to get to the other side and land your people carrier. One side is going to be word bearers, one side is going to be ultramarines. So I'm going to have to reprint. I just realized I've got to reprint those other planes and do a word bearers side of Xiphons and carriers. Oops. It's fine. I have plenty of time. I just have to find the paints I need. Getting set up to paint is harder than painting. Like getting everything you need. Petroleum brown. Yes, he's going to need more petroleum brown after today. There's a black. Ooh, this is a weird, I don't know what brand this is. Is this golden? It's a high flow acrylic. I'm painting scenery, so I don't care, but this is like, I don't know, just random acrylic paint. This should do for now. And then I'll start working on the stone later. All right, so we're going to start with the brick. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Um, when I was a kid, I don't know if the kids still say this, but when you missed a basket and it like hit the rim and bounced off, you would go brick. Do they still do that? I don't know. I'm old. So I do a lot of real time hobbying on this channel because hobbies take time. You might have a plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to show up, and it's going to be great. And then, the gods interfere. This is my little poppy thing I use to hold paint. Where's my paint shaker? Ooh, it's on. Okay, so I'm going to start with painting the brick portion. So he's got a bottle of this red up here that I think I'll use as well. Oh, and he's got a yellow. Ooh, that'll be good. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start with these because they're super full. So let me mix the black and the red first. They're on the paint shaker. If you don't have a paint shaker tumbler thing, there's so many kinds out there, but I highly advise getting one because I used to, do the shaking by hand, and it works. Not as well as these things do. Like the pigment is perfectly distributed when you do that. And I'm going to need the black. I'm hoping that he'll come back from the California move with daughter, and I will have beautiful painted scenery that I can be proud of. So I'm thinking because one side is going to be ultramarines and the other side is going to be word bearers, that the part that I'm going to distinguish them with will be this railing up here. So blue for ultramarines, and then of course red and that'll make it easier on me. And then do the rest of it basically the same, and then I'm not stressing myself out over getting enough color. All right. I don't have my wedding ring on because I'm painting, in case anybody wonders where my ring is. All right, so I'll get a little paint out there. And then I'm just going to drop a bit of black in. Just a drop of black. Drop. This paint's pretty thin. Has he used this? Is this open? Paint didn't come out. He may not have used this black. He has not. This black is not open. All right, so we're going to open that. But it is just, it's carbon black, high flow acrylics from Golden. I don't know much about this brand, but hey, you're here in a pinch for me, so I appreciate it. All right, just a drop. So I am going to, not my fancy Artist Opus brushes. Those are dry brushes. That's not what these are for. Let's use, where are all my other brushes? It's okay. I have a brush tray in my portable paint studio. The brush tray. Literally, it's just full of brushes. And these are usually just like cheap brushes. These are the cheapos. So that I can beat them up and toss them. Oh, that's what I want. Look at that. That's what I want. Alright, so it's mixy and painty. Let's see what color I get here. So, if you're wondering what this is one of those little Pop-It toys that the kids love. I'm going to use a little bit more red. I don't think that's red enough. I've already got paint on my hands. And that's why I don't have my ring on. But I do have a painting apron. Who was calling me? Spam. Spam is calling me. I have headphones for my phone under these. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. I should be talking about Horus Heresy 101, but my brain is not with it at this moment because I had such a frazzled start to my day. So in the next video, I'll get back to Horus 101. I need to calm down so that I can properly talk about it without discombobulating. Oh, okay, that's not a bad brick color. Not bad at all. That is actually pretty good. Kind of happy with it. Yeah, hobbying can have its moments where it's very like, you just want to sit down and do the thing, but you sit down to do the thing and the thing is determined not to be done. I was having one of those mornings Because, especially when I've taken time off work for this, um, it was a little annoying. But what can you do? But that's why we hobby in real time on this channel, because everything doesn't go the way you planned. So the way that I paint, I tend to go a section on when I'm painting a big group of stuff like this, I go a section at a time. So like if it was a set of Space Marines, maybe I'm painting all their pauldrons, or maybe I'm doing all the helmets. Then I'm doing the eyes or whatever. But that's how I tend to paint. I don't go just one model at a time. Some of that is to keep the consistency and the color in a batch because I'm mixing in real time. So I really need these colors to work out together. Once and this is going to be very simple paint jobs. What's going to go on this next after it dries will be a wash and a dry brush. That's it. I'm not going super detailed on this because it's scenery for, the battle. The planes I'll probably go a little bit more ham on, but we'll see. But hobbying isn't always straightforward. I wish it was. I wish that every day just, I have to change my screensaver settings on my laptop. Yeah, total non sequitur. Because when you see me reach up, because I've got two cameras going, but for some reason when I'm in my recording studio, it doesn't sense that anything's happening, and the screensaver will pop on, and I can't see what's going on. So I don't know if I'm in frame or not, and it's really annoying. So before my next video, I was trying to fix that before this, and I thought I had, but apparently I didn't. I might just turn the screensaver off. Because unless I'm gaming or painting, the laptop typically isn't even on. But yeah, hobbying, it can be frustrating, because you got plans, you got stuff you want to do, and then, you know, the vat is broken, or you got to wash stuff, or you find out you don't have all the materials you thought you had, you don't have the paint you thought you had. It can be really annoying. This is the color I was trying to achieve with the ink for my, I'm going to go ahead and paint these because I can dry brush over them and that won't make me mad. But again, the ink just, on this PLA, the ink, the PLA ate the ink, like just soaked it up, drank it like it was water, basically. So I was unable to get the result that I wanted. Hobbying can be frustrating, but you know what? We push forward. I'm excited to get to host a game, and maybe that's why I'm going as ham as I'm going, even though it's just a beginner game. Like, I've never gone to a gaming convention, and, well, okay. To be fair, when I was younger, I only went to gaming conventions as a cosplayer. Once upon a time, I got paid to do cosplay, when I was young and gorgeous. um, Thank God it was before the internet. Um, but you know, I wasn't there to like demo anything, or I was just there to be taken photos with and looked at. The one I got called to do the most, you can probably guess some of them, and I'm going to age myself, would have been like Erd from Amegami-sama, um, Sailor Pluto, because in the manga she is dark-skinned, characters like that. I think I did I can't remember her name, but out of Magic Knight Rare, she was the one who had the clanging cymbals. I did her. Um, so I did Dot Hack Sign. I did a bunch. Those were fun days. Hey, when you're 20 and broke, that's how you pay the bills. Um, the makeup was the worst part because when you're doing it professionally, like if the company's paying you, um, you know, it's a whole thing. Like you're, because I went to school initially for theater and English, so that's how I got connected to do that kind of thing. Like I did some brief modeling when I was younger, like nothing major, like she wasn't in Vogue or anything, just like local stuff, um, local artists and stuff who wanted to display their stuff. I did, a lot of goth modeling and stuff like that because I was a goth kid. So a few makers of that kind of stuff hired me, and I got connected to do that, the professional cosplaying stuff, because those aren't your costumes when you do professional cosplays. Like it's like going to a runway show. The models don't get to go home with the clothes because people have asked me like, "Where are those costumes?" I'm like, "Those weren't mine." I can't. I can't walk off with someone else's property. So I've got two of everything. So I'm painting them in pairs. Um, but you can't walk off with property that's not yours. What that wasn't, those were not my costumes, but it was a fun time. But now, when I cosplay, it's because it's something that I want to do. And I do have a pretty robust cosplay closet. I don't cosplay as much as I used to. I get a lot of my need to cosplay out in the SCA because we garb up for our events. And I gotta say, like my garb I've created for like my North African persona, I kind of really love it. And sometimes I just wear it because it's beautiful and it looks really good on me. But I did enjoy that. I did, but I'm looking forward to going to Adepticon next year with a proper um, Warhammer cosplay. I hope it's appreciated. It may be, it may not be. I don't know. Um, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't even know where that story came from and why I was talking about it. That we want to talk about the non sequitur of non sequiturs. Holy cow! I just went on a little tangent there, didn't I? But yeah, it was good times. But that level. So I know I was talking about it. Um, so when I went to gaming conventions and stuff like that, when I was in my early 20s, late teens, I wasn't there to host anything. I was there as a prop. It's a completely different experience, I gotta say. Um, an experience I'm glad that I had. I'm not sad about it at all. I had a really good time doing it. Everyone was really nice. I don't have any bad memories from it. Um, one of the things that was really important that I appreciated when I was doing my cosplay time was they did a really good job, especially um, for the female cosplayers. We always had somebody in a matching cosplay who was like your bodyguard um, to go around with you, make sure people didn't get too close, stay too close. And I think they still do that because there's one in every crowd that just don't want to obey the rules. But I enjoyed it. But it's nice to be on the other side of conventions and like being a participant, like there to enjoy it. Like I will say when I went to anime conventions and stuff, I was an anime kid. I did love anime, watched it. Y'all seen my collection, been collecting since I was a kid. But getting to go as not just a looky loo or a participant and getting to go and being trusted to actually host a game, it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm just like, yay! It's something new in my life, and I'm very excited about it. See that pink in there? The PLA is pink. As long as you get like a smattering of primer in there, the paint will stick. It gets a little annoying. I rattle can this stuff on purpose because if I came in here and tried to do this with the airbrush, it would have just made me hate everyone and everybody. It just getting in all the nooks and crannies. And I did airbrush the first set, and it did just that. It made me hate everyone. So I chose not to do that this time. I went with the rattle can primer. I missed a couple of spots, but if it even has like a dusting of the primer on there, your paint will hold. There is primer for PLA. I don't know. I just found out about this myself. Um, our game master told me about that for PLA that like when you prime with it, it does something to the PLA and it makes it bond better and look smoother with the primer. So if the lines really bug you, go get that primer. See, I'm just filling in. Yeah, go get that primer if the lines bug you. Some people hate the lines. Like there was a Warhammer group I posted in once. I'm not going to tell you where because you'll go find it. But I never posted in there again because I had built a Spartan tank, like a regular G-Dub Spartan tank, and it nearly took me out of this planet. I mean, my God, building that. And I'm not somebody who doesn't not build the G-Dub stuff. The reason I'm doing this is because they don't make Aeronautica Imperialis anymore. It's just not made. Um, and the Imperialis sets don't really fit with what I'm doing. Um, and I have an Imperialis box. I have a Titanicus box. Like she supports G Dubs, and I support artists. But sometimes you end up printing when stuff is not available anymore. They don't make this game anymore. Which if you did, I'd have bought it. I'd be buying it right now. There are planes that I want that I would rather have the actual plane than print them, but whatevs. Um, They're not here for me. They're you know, they got money to make. But yeah, that's why these ended up being printed. But apparently, you know, when I posted that, I had built a Spartan, and I needed another one, and I couldn't do it again. It was so hard to build. Now, and I built a lot of stuff. I've built knights. I have I have 4 more knights to build because I'm building the 5 knights of Freddy. Once I'm done with all this, I'm getting back on my knights. I have my knights. I have a salamander army to build. You know, I love building the dreadnoughts, except the one out of the Saturnine box. Saturnine made me just want to give up on life. Like, uh, look, I appreciate the new levels of articulation, but I'm not the only one who ain't put their Saturnine box together yet. I got to that knee joint on that dreadnought, and just the end of days. All right, so 2 of those are painted. But yeah, so she builds. She builds. She's into it, but you know everything does not always make itself easily available. But we live in the age of 3D printing. I only got one of these, which is fine. Is there any brick on this? Yes, there is a little bit. Um, I should have 2. I bet the other one's out there drying right now. Looking for stuff with brick on it to paint. Kind of. Okay, this definitely has brick. What else? This has brick. I can't wait to put the sets together. I'm doing the common stuff first, and I'll go in and make it, you know, for what side it's supposed to be for. Okay, that has brick. That's stone. That's not brick. I'm trying to decide on these little archways here. Do I want those to be brick or stone? Probably brick. Yeah, maybe brick to make it easier on me. Look at all this cute little scenery. Look at it. You just go clip. It's so great. Clip. You just put it together. It's awesome. There's a bug. You gotta choose your battle. I'm gonna have way too much fun with this. Um, I feel like there's more. That has brick. This has brick. Yep, brick, 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 brick. Y'all get tired of hearing me say brick. Okay, all right. I think I got all my bricks. All right, line them up and knock them down. All that to say is I'm pretty chuffed about going to Nashcon. And granted, I'm just doing the beginner game. It's not like I'm hosting a big event or something. And my husband's doing the more involved event. He's doing the Great Grot Derby, um, which super fun. We tested it out. I think we're going to test my game this week at our weekly Aeronautica. We haven't done our RPG in a little bit because our game master went to Historicon, so he was busy with that. And he travels for work too. I'm kind of glad I don't travel as much for work right now because I'm enjoying being home and, you know, living a normal life. I used to travel quite a bit. I like the job I have now. Being home is underrated. But I do know if I ever change careers, it will probably bring travel back into my life. So I'm not in a hurry to do anything different right now. I'm just not. Um, but I appreciate that he's trusting us to represent Lead Pursuit. That is our podcast group that we'll be with, and all the guys at Lead Pursuit are great. You can go sub them up; they are awesome. That's where we stream our weekly Aeronautica Imperialis RPG. So we're not just playing Aeronautica in that game; we are also RPGing it up. If you're uninitiated to RPGs, role playing game. So we've combined Aeronautica with a role play system, and we actually just changed systems and set all of our character, not back to zero, but we've reset some things to make the next round of play a little more interesting. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of banter between us. You'll see my husband on there, our friend Connor, who is a fantastic painter, and then Doug, our GM, and host of Lead Pursuit. They podcast every week, I think. Um, the other podcasts that we're a part of, well, not a part of, but, we love the people, the Accountability Buddies. They've been super nice to us. Um, I enjoy going to conventions and getting to see those folks. And, of course, our friends at Bama Heresy. Those are the groups I would say that I'm the most involved with as far as gaming groups. Why Bama Heresy? Alabama. I live in Alabama. I used to live in Nashville, but I got married and moved. And now I don't live in Nashville. Um, but Nashville is always visitable, and I still have a ton of friends there. There we go. Paint, paint, paint. Paint, paint, paint. I'm excited. And it's fun for me because Nashcon is in Nashville. And it's more of a historical leaning convention. There is an Age of Sigmar tournament there. And they give out, that tournament gives out cool gifts. They give out like swords and stuff as their prizes. Which, again, I don't play Age of Sigmar, so I don't know if that's normal in the Age of Sigmar tournament. Like, is that just what y'all do? Y'all just be handing out swords? And it's cool. I think it's a cool idea. I find it to be really cool. Um, Outside bricks. Give them a little bit of a red. I'm not being as exact on this as I would for other paint jobs because, again, it's just a bunch of scenery. I will say this about scenery. Scenery is about the easiest thing there is to paint. For me. I can't say that for everybody, but for me, see, then basing. Oh, man, she loves basing. I love putting bases on models. I get so creative with it. My Emperor's Children are so Emperor's Children-y. Like, people can see, like, one model, and they're like, Emperor's Children. I'm like, yes. So I've done my job. Um, a couple of times, people have not been able to identify my word bearers as word bearers. But the word bearers layer red, Magnus's red is very similar to it. They're not the same color, but they're similar enough that they can be hard to distinguish. So I'll forgive that. I'm still so proud of those word bearers I painted. Oh, they were so great. Paint, paint, paint. It's a good time. I'm glad to actually finally be sitting down and painting. I never thought I was going to get to paint today. I was a little worried I wasn't going to be able to get this stuff painted, but now that I'm doing it, I'm like, yeah, this will be painted in no time. I'm going to print my other planes today. Now that I've realized I need 2 more sets of the other stuff, I'm going to fire up my printers again and print those other planes after I finish getting this red brick on here before I start my next filming video and go start up my siphon printing. I think I'm going to do 4 siphons per side. Um, that way, no matter who shows up, there'll be enough planes for everybody. I'm just trying to think it through. It's my first time hosting. I want to do a good job so that, maybe at Adepticon Doug will let me host a game. What, will you do? Will you let me host a game at Adepticon? I'm trying to do good. Like, I'm studying my rules. I'm making sure that, like, I understand everything the way I should. Like, I'm taking it seriously. I'm taking it so seriously. I probably am taking it too seriously. And plus, um, except for a couple of game systems, you don't often see women hosting games of any kind at these conventions. You see them participating for sure, but hosting the games, I've not experienced that much. Although I've not been to Gen Con. I saw a video of folks going into Gen Con. That ain't for me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, ma'am, no, sir. Did you see all them people? I keep being told that going to Gen Con that I would really like it, which I'm sure it's a good time. That crowd's a little bit too big for me. Adepticon, Nashcon, those are my speed. I am going to Gulf War next year with my husband, which is not that Gulf. It's on the Gulf of Mexico. It's way down in, is it Mississippi, I think? But it's an SEA event. And I will be fighting. That's another reason I had to get my knee worked on is she is not at her peak athletic performance because the leg has been such an issue. Okay, so here's what happened to my knee. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Y'all need to know. I don't know, but you're gonna know. So I've been doing Taekwondo officially. It's 2026, 27, 28 years. Oh, God, I'm old. But when I was about 20 years old, I think I was 20. Um, did I have a black belt yet when I did this? I don't think I had a black belt when this happened. Yes, I was probably 19 when this happened, somewhere between 19 and 20, because I got my first black belt when I was 21. It was pre-black belt. Um, I was in my school, and my original school that I went to was not the school that you previously saw featured. My instructor was a student of that instructor, and he is like a cool old biker redneck guy. Dead ringer for Chuck Norris, by the way. Apparently, when he was younger and he had red hair still, when he'd go to tournaments, like kids would come up to him thinking he was Chuck Norris, and he'd sign stuff as Chuck Norris. I'm not kidding. He is a dead ringer for him. It's kind of hilarious, and he's just a cool old biker guy. Um, I consider him like a second dad, honestly. Yeah, I learned a lot from him. The reason I'm a good fighter is that man. And I'm sure that if you run into him at a biker bar, don't mess with him. He will take you and everybody else out. Anyway, he was very well known for being super flexible. Like everybody called him Gumby. Just age myself again, but yeah, he's very stupid flexible. You would not look at this man and know that he could roundhouse kick a Coke can off your head. Like, just crazy. Um, Anywho, we were just in regular class. And at the end of every class, we spar. You know what they call it sparring at our school? It was fighting. I went to the blue collar school, like the school that was over in the fancy part of town. Like they're not paying to get hit. Our school, we beat the snot out of each other in every class, and that's the reason I'm the kind of fighter that I am. I am used to a rough fight. The SCA has taught me that I am not so much just a Taekwondo person. That I just like physical fighting sport. It's like I like to hit people. I learned something about myself with the SCA. I enjoy it. Some people just like I like martial combat is what that boils down to. But yeah, at the end of that class, we were sparring as usual, and the guy I was sparring, not gonna lie, probably one of the best sleeper fighters you've ever seen. I would give you his name, but I'm not gonna put somebody on Front Street who doesn't want to be there. But if he ever sees this video, you know who you are. Good fighter, good fighter. Tall, skinny guy, bald head. You'd never know he was as good as he was. And I'm not gonna lie. Every time I had to fight him, I was scared to death. I was like, this man's gonna kill me, because all at that school, because the instructor was a blue collar factory worker biker guy, he attracted a lot of blue collar guys. So for years, I fought a bunch of guys that were bigger than me, and I'm 6'1". I'm not little. A bunch of guys who were taller than me, stronger than me, and they fought me like I was a guy. So I was fighting for my life, and that turned me into the kind of fighter that I am. Um, Anywho, boy, I'm good at the sidebar, aren't I? I can non sequitur like nobody's business. But anywho, so with that, I was fighting him at the end of class one day, and I was young and I was fit, and I went up to I did a roundhouse. I was trying to do a roundhouse spinning wheel kick on him, and I hit him. I landed the wheel kick, but when I came down, my foot landed on his foot. Yeah. And my foot went one way, my thigh went the other way, and my knee was in the middle, and that's all she wrote. I didn't shed one tear. I was very proud of myself. I wouldn't do that now. I'd cry like a baby now. But I didn't shed one tear. Luckily, there was a hospital not far away. It was a newly built hospital. Um, and we went over there. And when I was in the emergency room, they were so backed up, and I was in so much pain. And my first husband, who was with me at the time, I sent him to go get me a Dr. Pepper, because that's what you drink in the South. You drink Dr. Pepper. We all drink Dr. Pepper. But I was like, "Oh, give me a Dr. Pepper." And the nurse was like, "You can't do, no, it may have been a tech, I don't know, but they're like, you can't have that because we have to take your temperature." I said, "Did I come in here for the flu?" I said, "I dare you to take this Dr. Pepper." Out of my hands. Like, I was in so much pain. But, go through physical therapy, go through the whole rigmarole of seeing how bad it was. My kneecap basically went out of place and then back into place. Yeah. It went pew, pew. My meniscus did not tear. I don't know how my ACL didn't tear. They sent me to physical therapy. I was in physical therapy for like 6 weeks. Um, and, the ortho I had at the time, he was like, "You're too young for knee surgery. We're not doing that mess." He said, "But at your age, if you just keep the muscle strong above and below the knee, it'll keep your kneecap in place. And it'll be 20 years before you need knee surgery." Guess how long it's been? It's been 20 years. I need to mix up a little more paint. Almost exactly 20 years. So, actually, like 22 years. About 2 years ago, my knee started giving me problems. And in my head, I was like, this is out of nowhere. It wasn't out of nowhere. The arthritis over the years, because it's not like I quit practicing hard. But over the years, the arthritis has just gotten worse and worse and worse. Um, it finally got to a point to where I had to do something about it, and I started the journey with a new ortho last year. Because you have to go through injections and physical therapy and shots and the whole thing before insurance will agree to surgery. So I went through all that, and I ended up needing a partial knee replacement, not a full. I'm too young for a full knee replacement. They made sure to tell me that, because full knee replacements are typically for people over 65 and 70. And that's no tea, no shade. That's just arthritis. If you've lived a life where you've been very physical and active, you are building arthritis in your joints. It's just going to happen. If you are a do stuff with your upper body person, it's going to be in your shoulders, it's going to be in your elbows. Taekwondo is very much a kicking sport. My knees, my other knee, it has arthritis in it, but it doesn't bother me. It has a little bit. The one that I injured, holy cow, it was just ate up with arthritis. And no amount of physical therapy fixes that. It also turned out that my kneecap itself was a little bit too thin. So that's why it was a partial knee replacement and not just an arthritis clean out. I thought I was going to just be getting an arthroscopic clean out. And when I went to the surgeon, he was like, "Yeah, we really got to do something about this kneecap," because my kneecap was just sliding around. So I'd get up to take a step and it would just slide out of place. Um, and that's not good, especially for someone who does like fighting sports like I do. Very easy for me to fall, very easy to get injured, and I just had to. I was not living the quality of life that I wanted, um, and it was making me very mad. Very, very mad. So I did something about it, and we finally did the surgery. I was hoping that I'd be healed enough to go on the California trip, but I'm not. And that's okay. That's okay. Because this had to get done, and the kids are in good hands. They're with my husband. They'll be fine. Even though I'm not there, it's fine. Everything will go smooth. It's fine. Nah, he's a good man. He's a very good man, very responsible, and it's time for him. I do appreciate that my stepdaughter, though, we were looking forward to having some bonding time on this trip because she went with us to Iceland. She was always going on that trip. I'm technically the one who added on because I wasn't around when the friend group made the plans to go to Iceland. Um, but she and I got to spend a lot of time in the car, driving around together and talking. We got to get to know each other a little bit more because she's been away at college since me and my husband got married. Um, you know, so it was good to spend that time with her, and we really became basically friends on those trips. Um, so I was looking forward to just more bonding time. We were going to stop in a city to do the Hobbit release, but I won't be there, so I'm taking my stepson to the Hobbit release. The day that I'm filming this, the next day we're going to the Hobbit release in the evening. 6:30 to 11 p.m. My God, today I must love these kids. And my husband on the road with my stepdaughter and her boyfriend. They're gonna stop and do the Hobbit release. Um, we are the dorkiest family. How did I marry into a family of dorks? You know what? God is good. I didn't know I was this much of a dork until I met these people. I was like, oh, I am just as bad as the rest of you. But it's great because we all have so many hobbies and stuff in common that it just makes it easy for us to spend time together. And I wasn't much of a magic person before. I had magic cards back in the day. My first husband, he played magic with his friends, so I got into it for their sake. But I'll be honest, back then I didn't understand it. I kind of get it now. Um, the Hobbit release will be the first time that I have played magic outside of the house. I only play with family, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. Just looking to see if I got any more bricks I need to paint here. Just a few. Just the bricks, man. Just the bricks. Um, So, but my son is really excited about it. You'll hear me refer to my stepkids just as my kids because I married someone with children, which means I inherited the kids. Excuse me. I inherited the kids. They are not my biological children. Um, they have a good relationship with their mom. There is no weirdness there. I don't believe in interrupting parent-child relationships. I've been a children's teacher and minister for a long time, and I hold the parent-child relationship as sacred. Where it can be preserved, it should be preserved, and you shouldn't interrupt that. That's how I feel. Off my soapbox. Um, but I'm not someone in their life who's here to take control because I came in when they were getting into early adulthood. Well, um, my son was 18 and my daughter was 20, 21 when I first met them. And, they're transitioning into adulthood. So a lot of the problem stuff they actually come to me about, and they leave the fun stuff for their parents, which is fine, which means they trust me. If they have a thing they don't know how to do or resolve, they call me. If they want money, they call their dad. If they want to gossip, they call their mom. Did I see the light go out? I'm going to have to get up there and see what the deal is. Um, but if they want to actually solve a problem, they call me. I'm just looking around to see where else this brick color should go before I'm done with this paint and in this particular video. Which, I'm going to give myself a backpack for that. But I love them dearly. I'm very fortunate. I married into a really good situation. I know that it doesn't always work out when people have children already before you get in a relationship. You know, you're stepping into a spot that another person was in, that has been there their entire life, and they're allowed to have feelings about that. And I know it's different between when children are older versus younger, but I have been a children's minister since I was a kid, and young people tend to sense from me that I am a safe place. Um, Whenever I've gone out of the country on taekwondo trips or mission trips and stuff, and and been places where I don't speak the language, and people are like, how are you communicating with the kids? I will tell you, I speak fluent 7-year old. All right, 7-year old is a universal language. Okay, I could speak seven. um and I laugh about it, but it's really true. I feel very fortunate, that even though I didn't have kids of my own, that I am someone who has a lot of friends. Like there's a couple of friends I have where I am the godparent. If something happened to them, I will be taking the children. I don't want anything to happen to them. Children should have their parents. Um, but I appreciate God giving me a personality and demeanor that works well with children and families. I've done a lot of child and family support over the years. I've done a lot of counseling, and I got stories I won't tell on the internet. And, I've had to do some hard things when it comes to families and kids, deliver some news and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I think, being a trainer, being an SCA person, being a teacher, all of those combine into making me who I am. I love people. I love instruction. Um, I just love all of it. Anything that brings people together brings joy, and that might be why I've taken to the gaming space so well. Is it's an opportunity to do something joyful with people that we're all there to love and have fun together. And now I get to teach a game. Got a coffee cough in my throat, and I don't know why. But that's okay. I'm about done with this section of the video because I got to go out and respray and do some 3D printing. But this video will be done soon. But yeah, this was a ramble video. She just needed to talk absent-mindedly while she painted because I was a little frazzled this morning. I got up thinking I could just sit down and paint. I had like 20 things to do. But that's how hobbying goes. And that's also how my brain works. I ramble. I'm a rambling girl. I gotta remember to keep the painting in the frame. I want one of those really cool, like, lit over the table cameras, but those are really expensive. And until YouTube gives me money, I'm not buying one of those. That's why I'm trying to get subbed up more, because I get a good amount of views. I need more people, more eyes on my videos, because that money will just. I don't get paid from YouTube. I do this literally for fun, but I'd like to be able to get to a point where I can do a little bit more. So. I think my 3D prints in there are done. I'm looking to see if there's any more brick. Nope, those are weapons. Oh, one more piece. Is there any brick on this piece? Yep, just a little bit. So this will take the last of the paint. Last brick piece. And then that'll be it for this video. I'm just a girl painting. Oh, you thought you were coming here for a painting class? Nah, dog. She's not good enough to give instructions. Not painting instructions. I'm not. My husband could. He's really good. I'll get there one day. People ask me for advice. I'm like, I'll give you some, but you know, if it doesn't work, I'm sorry. If you really want it, I'll give it to you. But you know, grains of salt, man, grains of salt. One of the things I do love about painting scenery is I don't have to be as precise. As you see me just slopping this paint on here, like I don't care, because I'm going to dry brush the parts that are raised. So if paint gets on there, it doesn't matter. Scenery is so forgiving. It is so forgiving. If you're frustrated about your paint's not coming out well, paint some scenery. Paint scenery. All right, I'm gonna wash this brush out. Oh, this video is almost an hour, so this one's done. I hope you enjoyed this. Just me rambling. The next one, I'll get back to talking about Horus and his heresy, but she needed a break for a second to get herself recentered. But in the meantime, join the Discord. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.